Which scene in a film disturbed you the most? The Fly, when the lady is having a baby and a giant maggot is born. Turns my stomach. That one scene in Silent Hill where Pyramid Head basically skinned the lady in his grasp. That was fun for 7-year-old me. There's a scene in a horror/thriller film called Mirrors. The plot is basically there's another dimension in anything reflective, and they're evil for the most part. It's been over a decade since I've seen it, I'm sure. Where a woman looks at her reflection in the mirror before getting in the bath. As she leaves the mirror, her reflection remains there. Couple of minutes later, she's chilling in the bath and the mirror version of her just starts ripping its own jaw open, which in turn forces the woman's jaw open in the bath, and she cannot do anything about it to stop it and just has to let her jaw get torn to shreds as the bathtub fills with blood. It is brutal. This still haunts me. The movie is Saw 2 and it's the part where the big guy doesn't want to do his challenge so he throws that girl into a pit of dirty needles. Can't think of many things that could be worse. The bit when that guy blinds a kid by pouring burning oil into his eyes in Slumdog Millionaire. In the British nuclear apocalypse movie, Threads, the whole movie after the bombings. Zodiac. When he's stabbing the couple at Lake Berryessa. The lack of any music while hearing their screams is disturbing. In Return to Oz where the girl is strapped to the table and when you see all those freestanding heads lining the walls. We were soldiers when they carpet bombed too close and several soldiers caught on fire. Event Horizon. The hell recording showing terrible things. I don't believe in supernatural stuff but that scene sticks with me. There's a scene from the movie The Road where the father and his son discover a room full of chained, naked people waiting to be eaten by the cannibals living in the house and then they run away and they get chased by the cannibals. That scene really traumatized me when I was young. I remember crying so hard when I watched that movie. Edit, I swear my parents are not bad people lol. The movie The Lobster stands out to me. Spoilers/disturbing/suicide warning. The premise, from what I remember, of the movie is society mandates marriage. If you don't marry you are sent to a hotel, where you have 30 days to meet your spouse. If you don't, you are turned into an animal. First would be when a depressed lady was introduced and tries to get with the main character, cause she only had a few days left to partner up. She mentions she might kill herself if she doesn't but is worried cause her room is only on the 3rd or 4th floor. A few scenes later the main character is having some serious dialogue with a lady who is known for being cruel and heartless, whom he is trying to court. The lady from earlier, at this point, jumps out her window and is visibly bleeding out and screaming in agony just feet away from the two in dialogue. Because he is acting cruel to impress this other lady and she is pretty evil to begin with, they completely ignore what just happened. I kid you not, it's like a nearly 2-minute scene of serious dialogue while this lady is in the background dying in pain. When Dean Thor ate the tomato. Oh, probably the scene in Hannibal where Anthony Hopkins cooks the guy's brain and feeds it to him. The eye sewing shenanigans in Coraline. I believe it was Human Centipede too. Pregnant woman pretends to be dead, is discarded to the side of the room, waiting for her chance to escape. Goes into labor, obviously can't continue playing dead, screams and runs, is discovered by Centipede Dude. Manages to get herself into a car as baby pops out, lady smashes baby's head under the pedal as she slams the gas pedal down attempting to escape. I don't watch horror movies anymore. There's an 80s/90s horror movie called, When a Stranger Calls Back. All the spoilers. In the movie, the killer is a ventriloquist who can throw his voice. In the end scene, the protagonist is in a room with the killer, and can hear him but she can't see him. He has painted himself to look like the wall. This scene impacted me for many years. As a single woman living alone, I would walk around my house, trailing my hand along the wall to make sure no one had painted themselves to match my wall. This was so horrifying to me at the time because I was so young when I watched it, but the last scene in Cannibal Holocaust where the cannibals assaulted and attacked one of the film crew has just stayed with me since. The scene in The Mummy where the scarabs crawled under the one guy's skin. I saw it when I was about 8 and it traumatized me. I still have nightmares once in a while about it 20 years later. That scene in Pinocchio where the boy turns into a donkey. The baby scene in Trainspotting. In 7, the guy in the sex club recounting what the murderer made him do with a strap-on saw blade. His screaming about what he made him do. The scene in RoboCop when Murphy was murdered. I'm sorry but Black Swan when she has skin at the edge of nail and she pulls it. Fuck. Final scene of The Mist with Thomas Jane. All for nothing. The brave little toaster when the vacuum sucks up his own cord. I will never vacuum over a cord. Edit, *cord. *cord. It's one of those words I'll never get right in context. The purposely botched electrocution in the Green Mile. To this day I can't watch even a second of that movie. In one of the later Rambo, I believe 5, where the bad dudes toss mines inside a pond and make the village people run across the pond or face getting shot. That whole movie has scenes of torture that are hard to watch for me. Not necessarily the gruesome of it, but knowing the fact that real people have definitely had a similar treatment before. The scene in Hotel Rwanda where someone is driving over a bumpy road. The person looks down and realizes the bumps are human bodies. It's horrible to know such things happened. Edit, I didn't expect this post to get so much attention. It gives me hope that some people out there were just as affected by the scene as I was. I hope we can all work for a more compassionate tomorrow. In Saw 4, one of the traps someone gets caught in is where a machine slowly pulls some women's scalp clean off. The scene in the original Pet Sematary where the old guy gets his Achilles tendon cut from the little kid under the bed. I always checked under the bed after that. Edit, these comments are a treat. Still pretty new to Reddit, only recently been active. I absolutely love all the shared trauma we had with this one scene. Made me smile all day, seeing all the comments and upvotes. Thanks for making my day in spite of the Rona lockdown and the smoky air making us have to stay indoors for the past few days. I hope you all have a great rest of the day, stay safe and always check under the bed. I was about 10 or younger I think when I saw it, so I think that's why it stuck with me, but it's the scene from Pan's Labyrinth where the dad just bashes some soldier's face in with a wine bottle. Splice when the thing grew and raped its mother. Also when the dad fucked it. The last 10 to 15 minutes of Requiem for a Dream. There's this bear scene in Annihilation where the voices of the dead crew members mutate into the bear's growl. It's really FK and scary. The scene in Fire in the Sky where he's pinned to table with eyes clamped open and that huge needle is coming at him, it's filmed from his perspective. The D-Day landing scenes in Saving Private Ryan, especially when they give you some context to the characters in the boat before the landing itself, and as soon as the platform drops they all get shot up to pieces. And then the scene showing the soldier walking around with his blown off arm and all the other soldiers in the other boats blown up and getting caught on fire. It's just a super sad movie, man, and just knowing that people went through horrible experiences like this. And #X200B, edit/edition, there are so many amazing responses and replies to my comment. I would just like to add that there are so many horrific and saddening stories from the people that had to experience the atrocities of war. I would like to add another movie that really moved me and had me feeling shock and sadness was Hacksaw Ridge, particularly the scene in which Desmond Doss is on the ridge and he sees a squad of Japanese soldiers going around and killing any wounded Americans that they can find. I couldn't imagine the mental toll it had to take on him to witness his brothers in arms paying the ultimate price like that while fighting for his life himself. This is going to be my first/last edit to this comment. I would like for you to all have a great day, and please, if you ever have the opportunity, show some gratitude towards any veteran or currently enlisted soldier. Shaving the leg in Cabin Fever. The rape scene in Irreversible. Wound up fast forwarding after a few minutes. In Saving Private Ryan. The scene where the Jewish soldier gets stabbed to death while the cowardly soldier can't bring himself to save him. Indiana Jones when they dip a guy alive in lava. Also, I was 5 when I saw it, so that's probably why it traumatized me. Martyrs, the woman with the steel thing attached to her head still creeps me out. Also the end. God, what a FD up movie. Edit, I'm so thankful others have seen this and agree. It makes me feel like less of an evil person for even sitting through it. The ear scene in Reservoir Dogs. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. The rape scene in A Clockwork Orange where Alex is singing the song Singing in the Rain while doing horrible things to this woman. It was totally unscripted too. Opening sequence Midsommar. American History X, put your mouth on the curb. I've never actually managed to watch this scene. I'll watch near enough anything, but I can't stomach this scene. I watched The Matrix when I was a kid, and the scene where the agents interrogate Neo still holds a special, horrible place in my mind. Specifically, when he loses his mouth, and the little robotic probe thing climbs into his belly button. Charlie's death. Large Marge scene in Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure. I can't remember how old I was when I watched Terminator 2, Judgment Day, but I know I wasn't old enough to see it. Haven't seen the film, not even the full scene, but the scenes when people gets exposed to the Martian environment in Total Recall. Every time I see pictures it freaks me the hell out. The scene in The Body, an episode of Buffy, where she walks into the house and finds her mother dead of natural causes. As someone that has experienced that at a young adult age, this scene is so well written, shot and acted, as in, everything about it is basically spot on for how you act/feel/see things. I've seen it once, it chilled me to the bone, knocked me sick, and I've not been able to rewatch it since. Probably a bit different than you were expecting, especially since it's from a TV show, but this is what instantly came to mind when reading the question. There's one of the tapes from Sinister that is absolutely bone-chilling and horrific. I won't spoil it, but for those that have seen the movie you probably know what I'm referring to. There is a part in Descent that it turns into a completely different movie, that ruined spelunking for me. When I was 7, I saw part of Phantasm at the drive-in, pissed myself at Little League the next week. Bilbo Baggins freaking out over the ring in The Fellowship, absolutely ruined the movie for 6-year-old me. A few years ago, a film portraying the events of July 22, 2011 in Norway, was released. For those who haven't heard about it before, a Norwegian terrorist attacked our government building, and after proceeded to make his way to an island where young and aspiring politicians/kids interested in politics, were at summer camp. He dressed as a policeman, before he shot and killed 70+ teenagers and kids. The movie was shot to look like it was all in one take, and the whole film just fucked me and everyone I saw it with. I literally felt like a different person after watching it. I can't explain it. Edit, changed people to teenagers and kids. For anyone interested in learning more, Google YouTube 22. Julie. The basement scene in The Road. Movie, 127 hours scene, where James Franco cuts the nerve in his forearm. The ending of We Need to Talk About Kevin, where the kid, spoiler warning, murders his little sister and dad before shooting up a school. I'm not gonna pinpoint one film, but as soon as a rape scene starts, show's over for me. It's definitely because I watched it when I was too young, but that scene in Lord of the Flies when the rest of the children kill Simon. I hated watching Macaulay Culkin die in My Girl. Basically all of Dominion. However, if I had to pin it down to one scene, it'd have to be the all footage of baby piglets being killed with blunt force trauma. If the poor things aren't growing fast enough, they're held by the hind legs and smacked into walls and railings. Just about every scene in Solo, aka 120 Days of Sodom. Most of the end of Evangelion. Either the bathroom scene in The Shining with the naked creepy woman or the gimp scene in Pulp Fiction. Saw 3 or 4. Jigsaw needs brain surgery and kidnaps a woman who can do it. She peels back the skin on his scalp and needs to drill into his skull to relieve the pressure. She puts the drill bit to his bloody skull and, knock, the sound of drill bit hitting his skull almost made me throw up. Absolutely disgusting. Fun fact, I would later pursue a career in sound design in film, and little did I know, would end up, and still do, Working for the guy responsible for that sound. The entirety of Tusk, to be honest. I hate this film. What goes through your mind to make such a movie? What went through my mind to even watch it? That shaky-headed demon in Jacob's Ladder. In Parasite, basically everything after they go down into the basement bunker was mind trip because it totally changed the direction I thought the movie was going. The Human Centipede too. When he cuts the girl's tendons with a pair of scissors. Oh my god. I have never vomited at a movie apart from that one. Annihilation. The film has a lot of body horror, but they manage to present it as being surprisingly beautiful. Then there's The Bear. In any other film it wouldn't be half as terrifying, but it stands in stark contrast to the movie it's in. Imagine being eaten alive, only for the thing that's doing to start mimicking your last words to lure your friends in. Pretty sure there's an SCP like that too. In The Strangers, when one of them answers by because you were home when asked why they were disturbing the protagonist at her house. The Mandingo fight scene in Django. I still can't watch that part. Mr. Creosote in The Meaning of Life, hilarious yet disgusting. Edit, Sopranos spoiler, not a film. But when the therapist got raped in the stairwell on The Sopranos. It was the most realistic and gruesome depiction of rape I had ever seen and really fucked me up for a while. Coraline horrified me in middle school. No particular scene, just the whole dang movie. Under the Skin, 2013, When the parents drown themselves trying to save a dog, and abandon their baby alone on a deserted beach. First the mother goes in to save their dog from a riptide, and then the husband puts the baby down on the beach, alone, and goes into the water to save the mother and also drowns. A Serbian film. You know what scene I'm talking about. Edit, the fact that I'm getting a dozen replies and they all mention different scenes should tell you what a insane, horrifying movie this is. In Jojo Rabbit, when he sees Rosie's shoes. It hurt my heart so much. Spickets won the Flugla things of. Berserk, The Eclipse. In Perfect Blue, the rape scene. From when I first watched it as a child, the part in Raiders of the Lost Ark where Toad melts after the Ark is opened. Pulp Fiction, that horrible rape scene and Gimp freak me out every time I watch the movie. In Mother. When the baby's neck snaps / everyone is eating it. Casino, the baseball bat scene. Just seemed so real and not Hollywood, as if that's what it would really be like. What's in the Box? From 7. There's other disturbing scenes in the movie of course, but that's the one that made me wish I'd never watched the film. I even went so far as to write a spoiler-free review for my friends, warning them all away from watching it. I let them know they'd regret it if they did. My warning backfired horribly as I received a lot of messages complaining that my warning is what made them see it. And yes, they all regretted it just as I said they would. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content every day.